Hello, people of South Africa. It is understood, it is literally understood that people are so freaking desperate for soft life. People are sick and tired. People are fatigued to live like in poverty, if I could put it that way. People are so freaking desperate in a larger degree, far by extension, to live in poverty. And especially nowadays, and this postmodern society whereby everyone is exposed to this lavish, extravagant, soft life. Even if you living in a very dilapidated area in the rural areas, probably maybe you're living in shacks, next to the suburbs or whatever the case may be. But now people are very exposed to soft life, rich life, even though they don't afford it, even though they are literally grossly very far from it. But people are able to perceive the rich life, how it is lived, through social media, Instagram especially. People are flaunting like exotic cars, bragging, showing off, living extravagant, posting their trips, their vacations in different areas: Dubai, Paris, London, Spain, Russia, and what's not, and so forth. So, at the comfort of their home, people are able to see this kind of life, encompassing. They are able to perceive it. So I think that what actually pressure people to succumb, in being so freaking desperate, for living this lavish life, this extravagant life, to live soft life. People are so freaking desperate for soft life. The level of their desperation, it is at the brink. It is literally skyrocketing. People are like lewd, people are enticed, people are grossly enticed, to live soft life. Their level of desperation is at the brink. They can do whatever it takes to live a soft life, to afford things, to afford this life, because the manner in which this life is sold unto them, it is it is so thrilling. People are so fascinated, people are obsessed, they would do anything to achieve, to accomplish living this soft life. You see like people like Andrew Tate flaunting exotic cars, Aston Martin, Lamborghini, Bentley, Bugatti. What color is your Bugatti? And all of these things. People are exposed to this good life. But at some point, somewhere, somehow, they are being prohibited and thwarted by the amount of salary that they accumulate, their earnings, their incomes, their salaries. Majority of people, remember, they are still stuck in minimum wage. And I think they're a little bit perplexing to find other alternative ways, to have income in order to interpolate or to have an increment from their incomes by having side hustles and what's not and so forth. They are not exposed to that life, because even though we are living in a capitalist country, but at the very same time, we should consider the fact that ways of capitalism, strategies of capitalism, of wealth creation, it is not taught in our schools or in our institutions, universities, and what's not and so forth. It is not part of the subject that is being taught in our institutions. So even though people would be aspired, would endeavor to live this extravagant life, soft life, and whatever the case may be, but at some point, somewhere, somehow, they perplex to find routines, habits, ways, habitual ways, in order to amass, to accumulate this amount of money that they would like to have, that will put them in a better position financially in order to afford all these items, exotic cars, toys, living in palaces, living in compounds in the suburb areas. Not majority of people are affording to do so, but you could see their level of desperation. It is at the brink. That is why, if you could just come across a poor person, their question that they ask you is, what's one thing, what literally one thing that I could literally do and it can substantially make me rich in just a fraction of time? Um, they seeking it in a wrong manner. They are eagerly seeking it in a wrong manner, because that will basically make them to be victims of the scams outside there. You find people saying put 5,000, you're gonna get like 200,000 in just a fraction of weeks or whatever the case may be. Most of those things are just hypes, rooted in fallacy, masquerading people, people will end up like fantasizing, envisioning, fathoming about this beautiful life that they've been endeavored to live, That is why they become victims of scams. Everyone is just searching for one thing. Just tell me one thing that I could just do in just a fraction of time, within a blink of an eye, I can automatically be rich. That will subsequent to become a victim. So I'm reprimanding you and rebuking you, people of South Africa, that you shouldn't search for those things. Building wealth takes time. After learning the art of the craft, the strategies, the tactics, the manipulations, it consumes quite a lot of things that you should need together, as a package, in order that will take you from point A to point B. So for you as a person who is poor, you shouldn't seek for get quick rich schemes, because most of those schemes are rooted in lies, in bogus, facade, masquerading, fabrication, swerving, gimmicks. You must mimic this very well, that there's no way, there's nothing which is called a get quick rich scheme. Most of those things are rooted in bogus. It's a facade. So I'm reprimanding you, I'm rebuking you, I'm trying to awaken you that you shouldn't focus on those things. Just don't focus on those things. Please, 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 please. Building wealth takes time. It takes you consuming quite a lot of lessons, learning a lot from people who did it successfully in the industry, following them. Consistency. There's another statement that says consistency is a mark of a champion. You should be very consistent in studying, learning the lesson that's unnecessary, that's going to accelerate you from point A to point B. It is possible. It has been observed that there are people that grows from rags to riches, in just a fraction of time. Probably minimum, it can take 3 to 5 years in order for you to live a rich life. But there are other things that can be a little bit, that can enable you to be rich, to be really little bit faster in becoming rich. But I literally don't encourage those things, because there is quite a lot of risk involved in those things, which will tantamount to you probably maybe ended up like giving up, just simply because of the hats that you're going to receive from those things. They are there, but those things are not suitable for everyone, if I could put it that way. As much as how easy they might look, but it's not as easy as people present it to you. Remember, people, they just want to make penny. They can present something to you in such a manner that it's like, it is easy, it is doable, you can do it at the comfort of your home in just a fraction of time. This is what's going to happen, this is what's going to happen. Selling you hopes, selling you dreams, there are plenty of those people, Some people are selling like really good stuff, but it's not going to, the time that they say it's going to take for you to get to that particular level, they're just selling you dreams. Building wealth creation takes time. You need to be very considerate. You need to be very cautious. You need to learn a lot. Follow people who are successful. Patrick Bet-David. The list is countless. I can count. There are plenty of these people that can teach you. Dan Locke, Dan Penner, Russell Brunson, Jeremy Minor, Patrick Bet-David, Grant Cardone. The list is countless. There's plenty of people whom you can follow and learn a lot from them. Robert Kiyosaki, Mark Cuban, Andrew Tate, Warren, Tony Robbins, Money Mastered the Game. You can learn. There is quite a lot of people whom you can learn from, rather than to rush for this one specific strategy that's just going to take you from one point to another point. That's never going to happen. Just be very considerate of that. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day. Have a lovely one.